morning. I gave you a sneak peek of my office in Lee Summit this morning. I'm sure that the girls will be so pleased to find out that they're on Facebook Live later. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Kelsie Toole. I'm with Chicago Title, and today we're going to talk about really spooky stuff. Wire fraud! Yes, it's a thing, and it's unavoidable. It's just unavoidable, and it's a difficult subject to chat about, so please bear with me. But right now, wire fraud is a problem, and yet I'm still going to ask you to wire money, because I don't know, have any of you seen that movie, Catch Me If You Can, with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks, where he forged all of those checks, and it was weeks and weeks before people realized that they had been given a check that was not real, or had those movies where they counterfeit money and they get large amounts of cash given to them, and that money is not real. As an escrow company, Chicago Title ensures that the money is good, that we pay out. So we go through leaps and bounds to make sure that those funds are good and take huge risks, and sometimes we pay claims. So today we're going to talk about wire fraud and what you can do about it. So first and foremost, why a wire? A wire is so good that there is no better way. It is so good that if you go to the bank and you tell your banker to wire money to a stranger, if they accept it, and then you come back later and say, oh, I sent it to the wrong place, doesn't matter. It's gone. So it is a huge risk to wire money to a third party, because once you've done it, it's gone. There's no getting it back. So you have to be very careful. So that's why we want a wire, because when you send it to Chicago Title, you're not getting it back. We're going to pay it out to the lender that is owed on the property and the seller and that kind of thing. Who's at risk for wire fraud? Real estate transactions are a great place to be for hackers. Sorry. They're a great place for hackers to come out and try to do wire fraud, because they know that large amount of money are going to be changing hands. So title companies, lenders, buyers, sellers, those are all people that are at risk. And what is happening is that hackers are taking a look at emails, and they're looking for subject lines that have information about wires, and they're trying to change those instructions. So they're stealing money that's being wired to lenders to pay off mortgages. They're stealing money that's being sent to sellers for their proceeds on the house, because they've intercepted an email to a title company and changed where the seller wanted those monies to go. They're reaching out to buyers and changing the title company's closing wiring instructions so that the buyer's funds are being wired to the wrong place. They're reaching out to lenders and changing the title company's wiring instructions. That's what they're doing, is looking for emails so they can change wiring instructions. That's the risk. And your contract, when you write a contract, actually on page 3 at the KCRAR standard, real estate contract, paragraph 8, it tells you that cyber protection, that real estate transactions are subject to a large amount of fraud, and that you should always contact your closer before wiring money. It also states that all funds in a real estate transaction must be paid by either cashier's check or wire, and that the seller will not let the buyer take possession of a property until the seller's funds are available. And when you're moving, you go in and you close on a transaction, you want that house right now. And that makes everybody rush around and do things quickly. And they don't stop and double check. So all of these things lead to increased risk for wire fraud. So my suggestions to you are this. Don't talk to strangers. Know upfront who it is that you're working with. First off, get a real estate agent, and when you're sitting down and you're signing your buyer's agency or you are signing your listing agreement, ask them, what title company are we using? Who are my contacts there? Can you provide me with something in writing today with the contact information for the office that you prefer? If that's something you want Chicago Title to provide you, I am happy to give you some great content for your listing agreement and buyer's agencies forms. Secondly, slow down. When somebody calls and says that they need things right now, slow down, take a second, double check that email address, double check the phone number, pick up the phone and call, go to the web and double check. Now the web's not always the best way because these hackers are really good and they come up with fake websites. So face to face, on the phone, verbally verify. These are ways that you can avoid wire fraud. Always, always question the wiring instructions. So don't talk to strangers, slow down, think, and look twice. And work with people that you know. So if that means that you come to the closing table and as a buyer, and you have the closer hand you a printed copy of the wiring instructions, and then you go to the bank and have them wire the money, then that's what that means. And is that going to slow down possession of the home? Yes, it is. But you know what? Somebody didn't steal $80,000 worth of your money. We will absolutely accept a cashier's check for closing funds under $100,000 at Chicago Title. If it exceeds $100,000, we require a wire. If you bring us a cashier's check, we're going to call and verify it. It will slow down funding. That's okay. That's okay because this is your home and this is your life savings and we want to make sure that it's spent correctly. Don't you? So close with Chicago Title and join me next week for Tuesday's Title Tip. Thanks, guys. Bye.